Well, hello model car fans. Welcome to the Muscle Car Modeler. My name is Raul, and this week I want to show you something I'm building that kind of falls out of the muscle car market, but we all jump around and we all enjoy doing different projects from time to time. And this is one of those for me. I've been kind of itching to do an exotic, and I've actually got a couple of Lamborghini Countaches that I started more than 10 years ago, but haven't finished them. And they're Fujimi kits, much like this is a Fujimi kit. This is the 575 Maranello, and it's a simple build. It's only got 84 parts to it, but it's a simple build, and something I acquired last year. That in itself is a story, and I'll get into that. I'm just slowly enjoying it, and doing it as a quick build is kind of something to change it, and I obviously didn't go with red. I always thought this was a good looking car, even though it's a front engine GT V12 car. I always thought it was just a very good looking car. Here's what happened, and it was about this time last year, mid-April. There was a Facebook Marketplace ad for somebody that was selling a bunch of model kits, and the ad simply said something about 100 and something plus kits for sale for $250. Must be able to pick up on Saturday, local only. Somebody had shared it across one of the Facebook pages I was on, and it simply stated, I wish I could find a deal like this. And I thought, oh, that's kind of cool. So I click on it, and I see it, and then I click on the link, the ad, the full ad, and I see, oh, hey, that's here locally in Arizona, and here in the Phoenix area. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm sure somebody's already jumped onto it, and I realize it's only 16 minutes old, the post was. I'm like, well, maybe the link was. So I decided, the picture was kind of vague. You just saw all of these kits in the hallway standing up, just the boxes. And so I sent him a message saying, I'm interested, I'm local, I didn't happen to work that Saturday, and I didn't have a problem with the $250. So I got a little bit more details from him. It was his father's collection. He wouldn't give me the address. The communication was very limited. He'll contact me Saturday morning with the address and I can come pick him up. I'm like, okay. Asking a couple more questions here and there, and I really didn't get any answers. Thursday evening, I had gotten a message from him saying, am I still interested? Because he's got a lot of people that really are interested, and he's getting a lot of messages about the kits, and wanted to make sure I was still coming. And I said, well, yeah, I'm still interested. I just hadn't heard from you, and I didn't know if you lost interest. And he said, nope. So Saturday morning comes, and I get the email saying, okay, here's the address. What time can you be here? I'm like, all right, well, take my family, and about 10 in the morning. So we all get up, go for a little road trip, because it was a good 30-40 minute drive from where I live, but it was still in the valley, but it was just across. And I get to the house, and it's actually sprinkling that day, which is unusual, but it was April of last year. I meet the son, he's about my age, and I meet the grandson, who's like 16 years old. They meet me outside. I come in real quick, and they let me look at all the boxes, but it's basically, here they are, take them or leave them. And I only have time to open like 5 or 6 boxes, and they look fairly complete, but I'm taking a huge gamble because I can't sit there. And it was 171 kits, and I have no time to look at them. The widow was there, and I could see looking around the house that the house was being emptied out and looked like she was being forced to move out. So it was kind of a downer situation, and it was like, okay, you know what, at this many kits at this price, I'm taking a huge gamble because I have no time to look at them. And it was basically, okay, wait outside, we'll bring the kits out to you, because it's sprinkling. They didn't want me to bring any dirt or mud from outside into the house. So him and his son bring them all out to the bed of my truck, and I just fill the bed of my truck with these kits. So I'll post a couple pictures of the bed of my truck. That's really all I have. But in those kits, I ended up keeping 19 kits of the 171 kits. The rest of them I sold to a lot of the club members, and I put them up on eBay, and it took a while to move them all, I'll say. It ended up being really good for me, so it was a lot of work, and if you ever buy collections, it'll surprise you how much work it ends up being. And when these were in my driveway, I was opening all the boxes in the bed of my truck, going through them, and looking at all of the contents of what was in there. And some of them, parts from one kit were in the other kit. So I found missing parts in other boxes and completed some kits and kind of went through them. But when it came to, there was a number of Fujimi kits, but he had 3 of this 575M Maranello, and this one was completely unbuilt. But this guy, he liked to take parts off of the trees, so all of the trees on all of the kits were cut up, which made inventorying them a little more difficult. But they pretty much all had decals, and he had a lot of them repainted the bodies, and the other 2 Maranellos, the bodies were painted, but and then I passed those on, but this one was completely unbuilt and unpainted, so I kept this one for me because it was, I always thought the car was a beautiful car, and I'm like, oh, I'll kind of enjoy building it. So that's what I'm doing right now, is enjoying building it. I did end up keeping 19 kits of all of that, and sold the rest. But like I said, I put a bunch of them on eBay, but I would only do 15 to maybe 20 a week because I still had to collect payment, package them up, sell them, take the pictures, put the listings up in my limited time, and plus store all these things. I really stacked them in the garage on top of my car to go through them all. But it was quite an adventure and quite a gamble. It ended up coming out really nice for me, but it was a lot of work, a lot of inventorying, and a lot of going through the kits and finding some disappointments. And there was like 5 boxes that didn't even have the kit in them that the box was. It was just miscellaneous parts and stuff thrown in them. But there was a lot of them that were complete kits but started, bodies painted, and of course many engines painted, and I found engines from some cars in other boxes. So it took quite a bit to go through them, and then once you list them on eBay and you put all of the details of what it takes, to say this is what's in the kit and what's not. But anyway, that's a little too long into that story. But this one, it's curbside, so there is no engine, so it's just got a really simple chassis, and the wheels are really nice. Other than I just put the decals on them, the wheels are right as the way they offer them, which is funny because the tires are kind of directional, but it seems like I've got all rights or all lefts. Yeah, technically that's the correct rotation for that. So yeah, it's literally 4 left tires, 2 rears, 2 fronts, because this tread should be the other way around. But and I'm not sure if it was that way on all of them or not. But it does have steering and the metal axle in the back. There's a piece here that glues on, and they just kind of detailed it fairly decently, but I still got to hit that semi-gloss black because you can see the molded in line and some cleaning up to do. But nothing on this side. There is 2 screws that go in here, so it's got 2 screws that hold the front steering together, and then you glue these pieces on, and it's only got 84 parts, but we'll see how nicely she looks when she goes all together. It's got 2 more screws that hold the radiator to the underside of this body, and then that holds the front into that when you glue it all together. And just some miscellaneous parts. Now, gluing this bumper gets glued on, and this front bumper gets glued on the body, and I found that kind of weird, but it glued really well. And I decided to shoot this with a Tester's Blue metallic I had in a jar. Can't quite think of the name at the moment, but I wanted a different color, so I shot it in primer and then painted it this color and cleaned up some of the mold lines. And then I put the decals on, went with the shields, and put all the decals on. And this thing's been clear coated, so it's got the automotive clear on it, and it's ready to go. I didn't polish it. I may not worry about it. I got a couple of spots here with some dust, but kind of doing it as a quick build, but enjoying it. Just to do a Ferrari, since I really haven't built a Ferrari since I was freshman year, or before that, 7th or 8th grade. Starting with like the Miami Vice Ferraris. I actually had both the Revell kits, and I had a couple of testers versions, but none of them survived. They're all got torn apart and turned into trash. But I'm enjoying this one, and like I said, I haven't built a Ferrari in a very long time, and I've got a number of them actually. I got pretty much all the supercars, and a couple of other ones, 250 GTO, 250 California, 288 GTO, and the F40, F50 Enzo, and the LaFerrari. I got all those. And then I've got this one, and I've actually got both the Miami Vice Revell monogram kits. Those are in my stash as well. But this one I just kept looking at, going, you know what, it's a quick, easy one. I should be able to build it quickly. So I started it and getting it going. So I'm enjoying it, and it's going fairly quickly. And shot the interior tan. It's a pretty simple interior. Lots of parts of the interior. One big glass tub, and then you black out the inside. But this one didn't have any decal masks, but I blacked it all out. And I've got some detail to do. I still got to paint the taillights, a few more decals, and a lot of highlights on it. But I figured I would share that story of that collection and getting them, and starting this build, and it'll go quickly and fairly smoothly. But this is one of the ones that I'm just working on, and I've got others that interest me that I'll share on the channel. But I'll get this one done. If you really like it, let me know, and I'll share some of my other builds like this in the future when I do something like this along with the other ones. But I'm enjoying it. The only thing I noticed later on, looking at real cars, I followed the instructions on where to put those, but I found on the real cars they seem to be much farther back on the fender. But Fujimi tells you to put them right there. But so I put them exactly where Fujimi said to put them, and so that's where they ended up. But I'm liking this color blue with the brown leather interior, and I'll detail it up. I was thinking about doing more detail to the interior, but since it's got all the windows, it kind of hides it. And I'll end up using the Euro style plates, because I noticed in my looking at and referencing there are no marker lights here, and it has the one here which tells me this is a Euro spec car, and they don't give you decals for the marker lights here, which is a US spec car, even though it's left-hand drive, not right-hand drive. So this is pretty much a Euro spec car as far as this goes, but it's really cool, and I'm just enjoying it. So I'll get this one. It'll get finished eventually, slowly, but it's I'm enjoying it, and it's actually building really quickly and very fast, and a very nice kit. It seems to, everything's just fitting together beautifully. And then I mounted the mirrors right here on pedestals to help paint them, because I really didn't have any place to mount them, and I really couldn't pin them because of the way they're made. So I just ended up putting some white glue in there and just gluing it to the toothpick so that I can paint the mirrors and gloss coat the mirrors. Since they're body color and not black, I thought they would have been black, but they show it that way on the box too. Body colored mirrors, but inside the black triangle. But she's looking really good, and I'm really happy with this one. So I figured I would share it with you and see what you guys thought of it. And you guys, thank you for tuning in and subscribing and hitting the like and the bell button, and setting off all of YouTube's algorithms. I really appreciate it. And you guys, you have a wonderful day, and I will see you next weekend.